Good morning and welcome to the Skeinz Diaries. It is episode 165, June 2nd. June, people. It is June. I don't know when June happened. It is June 2nd, but that's all right. You are here with Maree, and of course, it's the first Thursday of the month, and we always love Ethan for the first Thursday of the month. So that's very exciting to have him here. And good morning. Good morning. And there he is. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm alert. I'm awake. I'm caffeinated.
Oh, well, this is good. I can't believe it's 2nd of June. Yesterday, I was so organized yesterday that I actually reflipped over our Skeinz speakeasy on time. I know, stop it. Go me.
What's
So I have to
next?
say congratulations to Adele Terrell. She was our winner for May. So her prize pack is on the way to her. I
You
know.
go, Adele.
I know, and you know it's been fun. Do you know what I've been doing this last few days? Is I have
Drinking. No.
been darling. Other than I have been going through the girls have been having a huge we're finally getting through that post epic sale madness, and we now have the lovely Eliza on board, and so we've been doing reverse spring cleaning. Like we've been going
Right.
through the warehouse and everything getting sorted, and there's lots of little quirky bits and bobs lying around and
Now
yarns.
that doesn't sound like the Skeinz warehouse.
Yeah, but it's been really nice because I've been able to make up some garment packs, price packs for the speakeasy that are yarns that are never going to see the light of the day in the shop and never going to be online. And we've only got
Amazing.
enough probably for 1 or 2 packs. So something I thought that was quite special, actually.
So good. So
Mm, so
good.
so that's been a bit of fun. What have you been up to? Let's kick off with what's on your needles.
Oh my goodness. So I'm actually taking a time out from all of my other knitting to knit two of my own patterns. Um, I know. I know it's a shock to me as well. The good news is, thank God I waited. So those of you watching from home can't necessarily tell, but I have, and this is not a body shaming thing, I've intentionally gained about 12 kilos in the last year. I've been trying to get bigger, which is really hard for me. But thank God I waited to cast this on, because I would have been squeezing myself into some sausage casing if I hadn't been careful. Um, so I'm working on my basic Aran pullover. This will see the light of day very shortly. This is the other test knit of it.
Mm.
Um, the sample being knit up in Kelly & Co.
I was
Surprise.
just about to ask,
Um,
how's that looking?
oh, it's coming good. So it's out. It's being knit for me. And so we'll be showing off all the different ways that you can make a beautiful basic Aran pullover. Now, I have to tell you all, this is knit flat and fully seamed. So brace yourselves. If you've been waiting for me to release a seamless top-down pattern, that's actually might be happening, which is a surprise. So I've got both sleeves made. Now, someone recently commented that my sleeves are enormous. I have very big and long arms. So yes, they're enormous. Thanks for that. Moving right along. So I'm doing this in the Hedgehog Fiber Merino Aran. This will knit up great in a lot of the different yarns that we sell, obviously. That's kind of the point. So when we're talking about Aran and worsted weight yarns, everybody hits a happy gauge at around 4.5 millimeters
Yeah.
on your needle size. We don't want to be going loosey-goosey. I know that you're hearing Aran weight and you're thinking to yourself, great, break out the 5.5 millimeter needles. And we want to say, not today, Satan.
Yeah.
You're going to be reining that urge to knit with big needles in and knitting this nice and densely on a 4.5. You'll get beautiful fabric. So this is suitable for Rebel, which I'm wearing right now. I know it's a coincidence. This is suitable for Kelly & Co. Aran. This is suitable for that Ashford triple knit.
Yeah,
Basically,
vintage abroad 10 ply would
vintage
be
broad worsted.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this it's a catch-all basic pattern. It has 9 sizes. And if you need to go up a little bit, you're gonna just cast on more stitches.
Yeah.
And bind off more stitches at the underarm, if I didn't catch you, but I did my best. The thing to tell you about this pattern, so if you were to measure Maree and I at our shoulder from here to here, we actually have the same distance. And the same with Deb and Maree and Deb and I. And so I actually did a shocking thing where I measured 40 real human beings and averaged their measurements to make my sizes. So this is not based off of some random set of numbers provided by the Yarn Council of whoever or by our favorite lesbian Isolde Teague. Instead, this is I really love Isolde. I'm not being funny. So anyway, but this is instead, I took measurements off of real people around me, and used those like fashion companies used to do for fit models. This way, hopefully, we'll be getting a more thoughtful fit and shape that includes the information that you need, different bits and pieces to fit you, right? And this uses a specific type of shaping at the underarm where you're going to be shaping on the right side rows and on the wrong side rows. Now, what that means is you get this scoop shape right there on the sleeve, and you'll get a mirroring scoop shape on the front and back of your jersey. Now, for those of you who have some yardage up front, you may notice that if you were to take this shape and apply it to this portion of your body, suddenly there's room for the girls. And so this is a crew neck pullover that is designed intentionally to fit a variety of different bust measurements. And on the pattern, when you eventually see this in the light of day, you will note that I have put a bust range for the sizing. You are to, if you fall inside of that range, that is the size you knit. There's also instructions of how to adjust the sleeve length for every single person at the front of the sleeve. So when you get to the top of the sleeve, you're going to measure your own arm, and you're not going to blindly follow a pattern. And you're going to work out the number of rows that you need. And there's a little handy dandy fill in the blanks calculator for the sleeve length and the body length. So you end up with a garment that fits you instead of a garment that fits some imaginary person I created. I know, it's shocking. The other thing that's going to be coming up super soon to all of you.
Before you dive in there, what I love about, so I mean, I've been aware of this pattern for a while, so I'm so glad that we're talking about it finally, is that what I love is once you, I mean, for those who are sitting at home going, that doesn't sound very simple at all, trust me, it is going to give you that perfect fit garment every single time. But the best thing I love about the sweater is that you can choose yarns where the yarn does all the work, like the Kelly & Co, and it just looks completely fabulous, or the Hedgehog, or Guy was just saying he's contemplating making one in Malabrigo, where the yarn does all the fabulous work for you and it looks amazing. But you could then also do something very plain for contemporary pieces in your wardrobe. But once you've got everything down, see, that's when you can break in the stripes. That's when you can put in, it is like a foundational piece.
So I'm going to let the next two secrets about this out. So this is going to be relatively expensive on Ravelry to purchase, but it's going to come as an ebook that I will add to over time. So this first one is just the base garment. The next one is going to be how you take this exact same garment and turn it into a cardigan. Then the next one's going to be a V-neck. Then there's going to be a V-neck cardigan. And each subsequent release will add something to it. And then I'm going to add a texture update. And then I'm going to add a cable update. And at the end of this, for one garment price, you will be able to make an entire knitted wardrobe. And the best part is, I'm going to do this, and I can't believe that I'm doing this because it is honestly killing me. I'm going to do this for all three of our main weights that we use here in New Zealand. So that's Aran/worsted, DK, and fingering weight. And they're all going to be knit flat and seamed. So, and I'm just going to warn y'all now, there are going to be double knit button bands. So put on your big girl panties because it's going to be a journey into some weird technical stuff. And yeah, so that's the thing that I'm trying to do here is create foundational garments, and make things that you can then customize to yourself. You can add waist shaping. You can change the upper arm stitch count. You can make the sleeve caps slightly deeper just by working more rows. And the more that you work with these patterns, the more you'll be able to take that information to those more complex, I want to call them fashion knits.
Mm.
those more complex fashion knits and still have more freedom. Now, Maree and I are all about doing what we want when we knit. And we've had the luxury of time and trial and error to figure this out. And also, neither one of us cares about ripping things out, just as a side note. So, like, Maree and I will both, because we've both done it in front of the other, just like pull needles out and completely frog something if it's not working. So, that's kind of one of our personal tricks. So, the big thing here for all of you at home is treat these first knits on these really simple basics the way that you would back in the day sewing, where you would make a toile, make sure that you've got the fit right, record your changes, and move ahead. Every time that you repeat these sorts of patterns, they're just going to get better and better and better. And we're going to give you more and more options for you so that you are empowered to go ahead, buy all the yarns that you want, and knit all the things that you want without having to, be a slave to some strange set of instructions cooked up by people who are out there to try to make beautiful, fashionable garments. But here in New Zealand, we tend to all knit to clothe ourselves.
Yeah.
And I don't know about Maree, but I have never found a need for an aggressively cropped, like mesh pullover. It's just not part of my wardrobe. They work for a lot of people, and I'm really glad that designers are out there making these things. I'm not being funny, but it's not part of what I'm looking to do, and it's not how I'm going to be approaching design. And as it's well-known fact, I will probably not be knitting with mohair.
Yeah.
Surprise. But the other thing that's going to be coming in a few months is actually a top-down pattern, but it's going to be a top-down recipe. I just want to be clear here. And it's part of Outlaw Online. It's part of the Raglan, How to Improvise a Top-Down Raglan course that I'm running. And this little thing might not look like much right now, mostly because I still haven't put it onto a larger cable, which I've got to do before tonight. This is my top-down cardigan pattern with my new idea of how to do top-down cardigans. So this features a triplet of incorporated I-cord. And I want to say that because what I've done is I've actually cast on here at the neck edge, and I've created an I-cord pickup band that then transitions seamlessly into the fronts. And you can see how the neck edge ends and it rolls into the front, and how that's going to interact with a seamed on button band. I've then taken this same incorporated I-cord and inputted it at each of the raglans to create a huge amount of structural stability. So what this is kind of my proof of concept. If you've heard me talk about seamless top-down knitting, I often say you can achieve a good fit with seamless top-down knitting and a durable garment. It's just going to take a lot more work than knitting flat and seaming. So this is how I'm proving that.
Yeah. It's your thought. It's your thought in action, as it were.
Yeah.
Now,
I like to put my money where my mouth is.
Now, Susan is actually knitting something with Bohemia Light at the moment, and it's obviously doing a little bit of fluffing and shedding when she's knitting it, and she's wondering about how that'll settle down. The short answer to that is, Susan, is yes. I don't know. I know one of the things that I've always done, Ethan, is once I've completed, I do give it a good soak in a block. I find that really helps. What about
that? Does really help.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of a thorough block. And then honestly, this is a weird suggestion, but it's something I've been experimenting with. Wear it around the house, which is what Deb always recommends, but wear something over top of it. This is my recent experimentation. So as Maree knows, I'm a big fan of an hoodie. I tend to wear one around the house. If you are having shedding issues with your Bohemia, it's probably been knit on metal needles before you blocked it, which does the static releases the possum, if you will. So what we want to do there is create a situation where we're trapping the possum fiber, getting it into that pill state, and then the pills come off so easy. You need a sweater stone, or most of them you can just pick them off by hand as well. Yeah. And so all you want to do there, Susan, and anybody who's had some shedding issues with Bohemia, is wear it until it actually starts to pill. Pilling is a natural process with our Bohemia projects. And then just remove the pills. And layering something over top of it while you're at home can actually help to speed up that process and get it to a non-sheddy state much faster. And if you've knit this in a light color, or vice versa in a dark color, just don't wear black.
Yes. Yes, or navy blue. Actually, that segues quite nicely a bit into what I sort of thought one of the areas that we could dive into today was yesterday. I was saying to Ethan just before we started. So yesterday I had a bit of a catch up. I had some stuff to do in the morning, and I have had some mending that I have needed to do. And what kicked me off on this is I went to whip out. I don't wear a hoodie around the house, but I do have. You know how we have our comfy clothes we wear around the house.
Yeah.
And I needed to pop out and do some shopping. So anyway, I wore this yesterday, which is just a modified version of a cardigan I knit many years ago. And it is knit and it's made from the softest merino. But the downside with this very fine, soft merino is that it does get a little bit pilly, and it does. And I mean, I've knit this to a fairly standard 4-ply gauge. And to be brutally honest, if I'm to ever knit this merino ever again, I would actually pull the gauge right back. So, I mean, this is knit to about a 26, 28 stitch gauge. I'd be going 30, 32.
32, down that 3.25.
Because, and I just noticed this on the back, I had to do some mending for a girlfriend. She had a couple of sweaters that needed mending. And I just noticed on the back, you know, I've got a couple of little holes that are appearing, and you can see where I've had a really rough mend of one there. I know, but it's because, you know, like it's super, super soft. It catches on things, and it doesn't take much for it to get caught. No. Now, I love this because it is so comfy and it is so delicious that I don't care. So, I mean, I will continue to mend this and wear it around the house and love it until time immemorial. So then I realized I have another piece which so this is going to have a wee bit more mending to it, and the next thing I'm going to do once it's had its little wee extra mend is I will then give this a good soak in a reblock, because I often find that it settles everything down. And the other piece I had at home was a blue sort of hybrid vest I've worn many times before. I knitted that sucker 7 or 8 years ago, maybe longer. And I was saying to Ethan, one of the edges is just a cast on edge.
Yeah.
Completely. So, and it's in a woolen spun yarn, and it's an edge that that is at the hem edge. So it gets a little bit of wear and tear at the back. And of course, you know, it eventually I'd noticed that on the sides.
It releases.
It does. It releases. And I thought, I need to do something about that. I knew I had some more of that yarn left. And I think this is something you do, actually. When you keep records of different things, you often keep a little bit of yarn left in your mending. If I do remember correctly, it's one of your little OCD knitting habits.
I do tend to, I have a binder, and I do tend to write out the pattern, project details. I take the ball band from one of them, and I try to keep about 15 grams of yarn attached right to the page. It's totally normal.
I know. But I did know I had some of this yarn because I loved it so much that I actually had 2 garment lots worth. So I had the second garment lot. And I whipped round with this because I love this piece so much. And I thought, no, that's nothing but a single crochet around that hemline won't fix. And
absolutely.
Yeah, a couple of rounds of single crochet. And and it was getting a bit grubby because I hadn't washed it for a few years. So I mean, shocker, you're not washing your knits all the time. And
I never do.
I know. And I have my Climb Every Mountain because that's got an I-cord edging on it, and that sort of starts to sort of roll a little hint. And I thought, actually, that's looking a bit Grubsville as well. And I soaked those last night and have laid them out for drying today, pinning actually together those hemmed edges to allow them to dry completely flat. And it is literally like giving your pieces a little bit of a zhuzh up, really. And it's amazing what it does. And just to that answer, Susan, I've got a number of possum pieces, and I have got ones. They do a good soak makes the world of difference. And once you do go through a plucky phase. This cardigan here would be classic case in point. I mean, this is merino cashmere silk. It's the most delicious thing to wear, but I do need to give it a little bit of a pluck.
Yeah. They do, like, All garments pill.
Hmm.
I mean, I think that the number of times that someone comes in and like recently, someone has come into Outlaw HQ wearing a garment that was wearing a garment that was machine knit with very, very fine yarn, and she was asking for a yarn that didn't pill and pointing out how the garment she was wearing hadn't pilled, and it actually had quite large pills on it. So I did point that out to them. And then I set her free with the knowledge that she was just going to have to depill her woolens. Because that's the truth of the matter, friends.
And then, so then yesterday, I mean, I don't, I'm assuming you do this, but I got on a jag with it, right? So I got my mending out, did my mending, and then the two pieces that got soaked didn't need, so they got sent off for soaking. But then I had a number of other pieces that was kind of like time to get the sweater stone out, and I just sat there and had a little.
Okay, so I have to confess, I don't depill any of my garments. When they get to the point where they need depilling, I drop them off at daycare with the girls down in the shop. And I very kindly ask them to depill them.
Right. You're a brat.
And I will say, I have to also confess, I'm probably one of the few people who has more knit garments than Maree. I have so many that I've actually never had to do a repair.
Yeah.
Because
you do have a lot more than me, though. Yeah, you do.
I do have a truly bonkers hand knit wardrobe. One day when we're really pressed for something to talk about, I'll do this call from home and we can go through them all.
And actually, if we do, that's a good idea. And we're going to do that. And then I think you could show people your folders too.
Oh, luckily the folders are all hidden in North America. And no one ever needs to see those. That's a window into my particular insanity that I know. No. It was actually funny. I realized I was going back over old Ravelry projects, and I found a couple that have dates assigned that don't make sense to when the pattern came out. So I think that possibly Ravelry has been misassigning some dates over the last little bit, just as a side note, everyone. But I also realized that I made some truly wacky things back in the day. I don't know about the rest of you, but if you ever look back in time, because Ravelry is not a great time capsule for me because I was knitting a lot of patterns out of books. And so they weren't on Ravelry. So I just didn't make projects. I went through an Orenburg lace phase, as one does. And so that was kind of wacky. I did do some TLC recently as well. I reblocked my favorite child,
yes.
my Tapestry Cardigan. So I just reblocked all of the hems, and you can see that they're now very crisp and knife-like. And I'm very, very happy still with this. This is possibly one of my favorites.
Look! Don't you just love it? The hems, look.
Yeah, they're just.
This hem is the best hem ever.
They're very crisp. This is, I will tell everyone, if you're ever in the market for the greatest cardigan you'll ever make, this is it. It is knit and steeked. Some parts of it are knit flat in 2 and 3 color work. I just want everyone to be aware of this. Knitting color work flat is not hard, just for the record. It just takes a little practice. And this color work also involves purl stitches. So, but the real challenge on this garment is not the making of the fabric in the main garment. It's actually the finishing. There are several seams. There's a lot of steeks to cut. And then there's a very long 700 stitch pickup that you do. And then you knit it, and then you purl it, and then you fold over the edge, and then you seam it down to the inside. So that's how you form this beautiful enclosed edge. This is a very old school construction. Yeah, so this is, if you're in the market for some super, super fun, this is Tapestry by Veronique Avery. I've completely flipped the color polarity and just done my own thing with it. Surprise. The sample on all the photos has a dark background, but I just thought I would go with a light background. Yeah, and all the very pretty shades. So that got a little bit of love. And I also, finally, 1 year later, our poor friend Julie, who I love and adore, she sits on my desk, designed this beautiful pattern, the Ladies Lunch Date Tee. And I bought her Silky McSilk Face yarn to knit this with, which if you're looking for the ultimate in indulgence, it is 100% silk. And definitely an experience. But I finally finished mine.
Oh, yay. I've got
Yay!
my yarn all picked out for that, actually. I'm seriously considering casting on and doing that. I mean, I've got to finish Phil's sweater, and I've got to finish my shoji for Can, but I'm seriously considering doing that next. So then it's all ready for summer. Like, I like the idea of knitting a summer top now.
Me too. And the other thing that's really great about this is because of the shape of the quote unquote sleeve and the way that this falls. If you go back and watch, I think I was wearing it on Tuesday. I was wearing it underneath of this cardigan, and it just works as the perfect layering piece. And because this is 100% silk, it's still warm in the winter. But what I was talking about on Tuesday was making a like warm version of this. Like if you did one in Bohemia Light, because the gauge on this is fantastic, 3.25 millimeter needle. You can wear this as a layering piece all winter long. And if you're someone like Maree and I, who may have some, well, Maree, I don't really do this, I have to admit. I'm really bad for buying like 6 to 8 skeins at a time. But if you're someone who has special skeins in your stash, you can change the color of the stripes and use those special skeins in the stripes. Obviously, we're shameless self-promoters. Hello, that's what this is. So like this comes up amazing in Sock Bandit, just for the record. So if you are out on the hunt for the perfect thing to layer, not just for summer, but all year round, absolutely grab some Sock Bandit out of your stash, or even, and I don't say this very often, the Baby Bandit comes up beautifully in this. And you've got that great merino soft or the orb fine.
Yeah, or with Baby Bandit with our Flight Light. Amazing.
Oh yeah, Baby Bandit and Flight Light. So the color combination options here are endless, and you're not going to be disappointed. I do love the 100% silk. If you'd like to get your hands on some, you can always contact me.
I've got some silk set aside specifically for it too, because I've had the silk sitting there and I've been trying to decide what to do. And when she came out with that, I was like, oh, perfect. I actually I did some deep stash diving the other day, and I suddenly thought,
you never know what you're going to find in there, do you?
Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. I tell you, I have come to a decision, though. It can, for anyone coming to Knit August Nights. I saw some stuff in the deep stash. I've decided I'm going to sell some of my stash down. Actually, it can.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Well, I just suddenly thought I am never just going to get to knit that probably. And so I've decided to do that. But Tasmanian merino.
Okay. I have to tell you, you're frozen on my screen, so I can't see what you're holding up.
Okay. Oh, that's no fun.
Okay. I believe in us. We can work through this.
Well, I've got I'm just showing everyone my Niata, so I haven't done a hell of a lot more than what I was at, but I just needed something small, to do. So that's where I ended up with that. And I've nearly finished Phil's sweater. So I know. So I am about I'm halfway up the front now. I did a bit more on it last night, and it's it is looking really good. Oh, both okay. Well, thanks, Morgan. We're both okay at everyone else's end, so that's
perfect.
You can just have to listen to me, darling. So what else now? What have you're finishing off the sweater there? Yes. So
I'm finishing this off. I have a test knit for my good friend Hiroko, the hare and the crow.
My next question. How's that going?
So it's going a little slowly. The pattern is absolutely incredible. I can't show any of you it yet. It does take quite a few charts. I'm actually kind of embarrassingly close to the end. I just really need to put my, as I say, big girl panties on this weekend and just bang out the last little bit of it. That's difficult because the sleeves will take me a day each because I have witchcraft powers when it comes to knitting sleeves. If you know me, you know that I can knit a sleeve in a day. It's been a little too brain consuming to work on, because it does take, the main body takes, I think, between 4 to 6 charts to work through. So I've needed a little break from it, which is why I'm making some simple stockinette. And then after that, I have been all over the place. So I'm going to cast on my first sample for the fingering weight bottom up cardigan for sure. But then I kind of wanted to do something for myself. So what happened was I gathered some of the more recently and one not very recently published book together. And so we've done a little bit of a like hemming and hawing. So I grabbed out worsted. I helped edit this collection, tech edit this collection, not picking the patterns. So this is all designed for worsted and Aran weight yarns. You can knit most of the patterns in Rebel. You can knit them in Kelly & Co, blah, blah, blah. Our usual spiel applies. And I do love this book, and I love a lot of the patterns in it. But honestly, while they're gorgeous, they're just not really me. I started a perennial, and I ended up ripping it out because there's just no way to not do the crop on it. And I feel no urge to expose my lower stomach to people. It's not a flaw of the pattern or of cropped garments. It's just not me. Then I grabbed out the most recent issue of Lina and thought maybe there'll be something in here. And then I just can't get over the hat shawl situation. Now there are some great patterns in here, including a absolute stunner from, I know, one of my favorite designers of the moment, which is Sylvia Watts Cherry. She's come up with this funfetti pattern. Now this would be spectacular in Bandit if you have a copy of this magazine. This would be great in Bandit, beautiful in Bohemia, great in Vintage. Play around with color, have a good time. There's nothing like, it's really old school but modern. She's done a modern-ish shape with this old school striping and a little bit of intarsia pattern. And I don't know, there's something about it that I really like. I can't put my finger on why, so that was a maybe. It got discarded though. Then, of course, Traditions Revisited just came out by Alex Bird. For those of you who've been following along, I made the Selly cardigan, which features the Rosamene technique from Alex. And I really enjoyed making it. I did have to aggressively block the sleeves due to arm growth. But there are no end to beautiful patterns in here. I'm just trying to find the one that I personally am really drawn to. There is a fringe situation that I find absolutely beautiful, actually. But this pattern is just, I don't know, really fantastic to me. So that's, again, using the Rosamene technique. It's really beautiful. I would like to just credit Lina in both of these for doing fantastic photography of the patterns. And especially in this one for picking great models that really show you what the patterns look like on people. But again, I'm just going to be honest, it got pushed aside. And so I thought to myself, well, you're hunting for the perfect thing. And if there's one person who's always there for you, Ethan, it's Nora. So I got out the Knitted Cable source book and thought maybe I should just design my own pattern and do some cabling. If you don't own a copy of the Knitted Cable source book, go find it from your local bookseller. They can order it. It's published by Abrams Books. They make beautiful books that last forever. But I realized that I can't handle having 2 of my own designs on the needles at once. I'm doing that right now, and I want to find a bridge. So then, after all of this soul searching and book searching, I have elected to possibly do something absolutely insane.
Oh God, Maree Wallen. I feel Maree Wallen coming on.
It's Maree Wallen.
Why did I know you were going there?
Well, because, the thing is, no one does a pattern like our Maree Wallen, okay? There are colorwork designers. There are great Shetland designers. There are a lot of different people out there. I don't know what pact with which dark deity this woman has made, and I would like to sign up to it. But she has this knack for stacking 1,001 little bits and pieces together in a way that still looks clean and beautiful and fresh and modern while using techniques that are from a long time ago. Now, part of my background is Scottish, not from Shetland. I want to be clear here before anyone is like, doing whatever and running at me with torch and pitchfork. That's not the situation. But my family is Scottish, and I've been wanting to make some traditional Fair Isle for a while. Now, traditional Fair Isle means that the individual stitch motifs never go more than 5, so you don't need to trap your floats. And I was flipping through this book and talking with a friend last night about different patterns from Maree that I wanted to make. And I was thinking about making one of the really traditional, just straight up and down round neck cardigans that's in here. There's 2 great ones in here, Unst and the other one I can't remember, so you'll have to look it up. But I think what we're gonna do is make Yell.
Ooh. Yes.
Because, you know, it's one of those classic shapes that we don't see as often anymore. So this is knit straight without any shaping. So the shape of the garment, it naturally has a slightly shorter front than back. It's just the nature of it. It features a single steek. All of these are knit in panels and seamed together. And you know what? I just love it.
Yeah. What would you do that in? Would you do it in Little Bandit?
Little Bandit would be a great choice. I'm probably going to, you don't actually need a lot of all of the contrast colors. And I have all of the random failed scanning attempts from our Rebel Destiny Light. They live in a box. So I'm probably going to dig into my random bits and pieces of Rebel Destiny Light and knit this in that, because it's as close to the kind of Jamesons of Shetland spendthrift. Yeah. Although Little Bandit would also make a fantastic version of this. It steeks so easily. But I love it. I love this one. This is the Yell cardigan. And I think it's got to be the next on the list, because I've been waiting to make a Maree Wallen thing forever. And I keep putting it off because other more important projects come up. But who is that helping? No one. No one. So I have elected, you know, it's time, me who has rarely ever denied myself anything, that I need to treat myself. I've also set aside Kashgora. I'm going to be making a plus shawl, a second plus shawl by Olga Burik-Halfenian. I test knit that one actually, which was a rare occasion for me. Very, very few people who I test knit for. And I'm going to be doing one in Kashgora and plug your ears spin cycle. But I just thought that the Kashgora is going to make it extremely luxurious. We only have 2 skeins left if anyone wants to get in on that, but any 2 sport weight yarns put together, and I'm going to, of course, be doing a guided knit along for that in Outlaw online for anybody who's a member or anybody who's looking for something to join. You know, get on board the Outlaw online train. It's a good time. There's a lot of content.
Yeah, which is great, you know, and it's about, I think this time of year too, it's really good to get involved in stuff like that and get each other inspired. I mean, I've just really enjoyed picking up something different and getting cast on, but also I've loved, I mean, Knit August Nights reopened yesterday for registration. Yes. So, we've got some new classes. All of Ethan's classes are sold out, I'm afraid. I know, but
including there are I have to learn how to teach.
But we've got, I do still have some class spaces available, but a lot of people just come to actually enjoy and get inspired and sort of get together and just have some fun. So if you sort of think that you might want to steal a weekend away, do that and check out, you can get, the registration link is on the website, knitaugustnights.co.nz/registration, and that will get you, you can jump on and have a look at that as well. All right. Well, I'm going to, since I'm all frozen, I can't show you other things, and I'm not going to, I know, bore everybody. Have a long weekend. Where did that snuck up on me? Long weekend.
Is it Queen's birthday weekend?
It is Queen's birthday weekend.
Oh,
I know.
God. Betty.
I know, 70 years, celebrating 70 years on the throne, so go her. And I'm going to, I'm looking forward to getting some knitting done. And my oldest, my firstborn, turned 16 on Tuesday. I know. I can't believe that. I can't.
I
She's
can't
gonna
either.
laugh. When I was showing Ethan did see these before. I will show you these before we came to air. I had Peter was over from the mill, and he was looking for a specific yarn for a sample, and he knows that I've got this old hutch dresser that's in the side room, which used to live in my office at the mill, and there are many things hidden in that hutch dresser, and it's never been completely cleaned out. And I'm a little bit of a library sampley hoardery person.
You can just say hoarder.
I am shocking. So he had a feeling that I might have what he was looking for in there. So I did. So shocker. So we went in, and as I dived in there, I'm going to hold this up because everyone can see this. Look at this. I found this. These are 2 patents books. So one with the eyelash, eyelash lines. The other one, look, the Shivago book. And that, I have to say, so the reason that this is, I'm holding this up, is this.
Do you have the Dr. Zhivago knits book?
I know. So no, Zhivago the yarn, darling. But it's got a lacy shrug on the cover with a girl on the cover. And what made me think about this is I knit this shrug for the midwife that I had when Louis was born. So that's how old this is. But what's worse than that, when I was in there, I found a bottle warmer that I used to have for when I used to bring Louis into the shop from back in the day, so I could feed him. I know. I know. It's just like, I don't know where it's quite gone, but there you go. Patricia, thrilled with the Southlander mail. Yay. I'm glad you're thrilled with it, Patricia. And it has gone so well. I spoke with Peter this morning. There will be more mail coming towards the end of the season. So I am going to, we wanted to see what the reception was. It's been super positive. So I'm going to do another print collection for the end of the season for everybody. So yay. So that I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. All right. Well, thank you very much, as always, my friend. Because of the long weekend, I will be back again this time next week on next Thursday. So you'll have a whole week off. And of course, don't forget Breakfast Bourbon every Saturday morning.
I'll be there.
Ethan will be there. But until then, have a great weekend, and I will see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.